Chosen one. Listen with your heart. You were not brought to these words by accident. This encounter was arranged long before this moment ever arrived. Heaven has intentionally crossed paths with your life today because God is opening the door to a brand new season, one that bears no resemblance to the hardships you have left behind, every burden you have carried, every unseen struggle you have survived, and every silent tear you have cried has served a purpose. None of it has been meaningless. It has all been shaping you for what is now unfolding. The promise spoken through Isaiah 43:19 is becoming your reality. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not see it, chosen one? That new work is no longer approaching. It has already been set into motion. You have arrived at the edge of a divine transition where God's provision, insight, and overflowing blessings are being released in ways no human effort could produce. What seemed postponed is finally arriving. What once appeared impossible is being opened before you. Your history was never designed to confine you. It was the ground where your future promise was planted. Let go of what is behind you and fix your eyes on what God is revealing ahead. This is far more than another message on your screen. This is a prophetic word being spoken over your life. The Lord is leading you toward the destiny He prepared long ago. And your first steps begin today. Chosen one. Can you sense that quiet stirring deep within you? The feeling rising inside your spirit is not fear or uncertainty. It is the unmistakable sign that heaven is bringing every part of your life into alignment. I recognize that feeling because I have lived through it myself. There was a night when everything I depended on seemed to disappear. My career came to an unexpected end. Someone I loved slowly drifted away. Even the constant ringing of my phone gave way to silence. Alone beneath the glow of a single light, I whispered, "Lord, if you still have a path for me, let me see it." The answer did not arrive with chaos or dramatic signs. It came with peace. It came with direction. There was no roaring thunder shaking the sky. Instead, it was like a faithful compass, quietly adjusting the course of my heart. One small step at a time, until I realized I was being led exactly where I needed to go. Chosen one. That same gentle guidance is at work in your life right now. Heaven has placed a hand on your shoulder and turned you toward a future you didn't even know you were allowed to imagine. You've been reading the signs. Closed doors that once would have shattered you now feel like protection. People exiting your life don't sting in the same way because somewhere deep down you know this isn't rejection. It's redirection. When I was in that in-between, too far from the old, not yet inside the new, I started noticing small, impossible kindnesses. A bill paid by mistake. A stranger's word that perfectly matched a prayer I never said out loud. An email that felt like a divine breadcrumb. That's how heaven works when a supernatural transfer is underway. The currency isn't only money. It's timing, access, clarity, and favor. And yes, resources start to move. Accounts that were dry begin to flow. Calls you were waiting on suddenly return. Not because you hustled harder, but because your steps caught the rhythm of God's calendar. The past has tried to keep its claim on you with the old names. Unqualified, too late, too broken, not enough. I wore those labels like heavy armor for years. But the moment I loosened my grip on how it should have been, I felt something lift. I didn't forget the pain. I forfeited its permission to lead me. That's what letting go really looks like. It is not denial. It's dethroning. You are removing yesterday from the driver's seat and inviting holy strategy to hold the wheel. I once heard a whisper in that tender place between tears and sleep. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. My eye is on you. It was so gentle and so firm that I wrote it down and dated it. You may recognize that promise. Since then, I have learned that guidance is not a map. It's a pulsar. You don't need the whole blueprint. You need the next, yes. So, let's make this practical. Tonight, take inventory not of where you failed, but of what no longer carries life. There are conversations you keep replaying that don't deserve another minute. There are habits that served survival but can't steward abundance. There are environments that clap for your potential while quietly feeding your doubt. Release them. Not dramatically, decisively. When I did this, I expected emptiness. Instead, I met presence, and presence brings direction. The next morning, I woke before dawn with a phrase ringing in me. Make room. I cleared a desk, deleted numbers that kept me circling old patterns, and wrote 3 intentions. 1. Honor God with what I have now. 2. Move in obedience at the speed of peace. 3. Expect provision to meet purpose. That week, doors opened. I didn't even knock on. Chosen one. Heaven is not waiting for you to be perfect. Heaven is waiting for you to be available. Availability is the gate for transfer. When you unhook your identity from what hurt you, your hands become free to carry what's meant for you. Feel that lightness. That's not wishful thinking. That's the weight of old agreements breaking. You are not behind. You are right on time. Walking into a corridor designed for your footsteps, and just ahead. Listen. There it is again. The soft click of a lock turning from the inside. Pause with me on this threshold. Breathe. Let the past step back. Chosen one. Let's step deeper. When heaven opens a door, it rarely looks the way you expect. Sometimes it doesn't come dressed in fireworks. It comes as a quiet opportunity. A conversation that feels ordinary. A sudden inner nudge that won't let you sleep. That's how it began for me. Years ago, after losing what I thought was everything, I sat in a coffee shop scribbling in a notebook. A stranger leaned over, glanced at my messy sketches, and said one sentence that changed everything. Don't kid. This is the blueprint. I didn't know it then, but that was my first glimpse of supernatural funding. It wasn't a check in my hand. It was confirmation that heaven was underwriting my steps. Chosen one. This is how your transfer begins. Not always in visible cash, but in undeniable alignment. You'll feel the shift when doors that stayed locked suddenly creak open, when people who never noticed you before now carry your name on their tongue, when ideas you left for dead start to breathe again. This isn't coincidence. It's divine choreography. Just like Joseph in prison interpreting dreams, your gifts are about to pull you out of confinement and into royal chambers. The past wasn't wasted. It was the soil for the seeds now sprouting. I know what it feels like to wrestle with doubt, to stare at bills or an empty inbox and think, where is the promise? Where is the provision? But the supernatural doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it tiptoes in disguised as a small yes. When I said yes to writing that night, instead of drowning in despair, I didn't realize I was agreeing to a chapter God had already signed. That one yes drew mentors, resources, and opened doors I couldn't manufacture. You too are standing before a similar door right now. And here's what I need you to remember. When God funds a life, He doesn't just cover the basics, He overflows. Not just enough for survival, but more than enough for expansion. You've been conditioned to expect scraps, to brace yourself for delay. But heaven is rewriting your expectations. A funded life means your vision will finally have the resources it requires. The dream you sketched, the idea you shelved, the plan you whispered. God has already allocated provision. It's waiting for you to step forward. This is the part where courage matters. The new door may not feel safe. It might require you to speak when you're used to silence, to apply when rejection trained you not to invest time or energy when the past told you it wasn't worth it. But remember, provision follows obedience. Each step you take signals to heaven. I trust you enough to walk through. And when you do, the transfer accelerates. Chosen one, I sense in my spirit that your first confirmation will arrive sooner than you think. A sudden credit, an unexpected opportunity, a message that affirms what you've been praying in secret. Don't dismiss it as luck. Call it what it is: divine funding. Once you recognize the source, you stop questioning and start receiving. So, pause with me here. Breathe in the reality that you are no longer unfunded, unsupported, unseen. You are backed by heaven. Chosen one, let me ask you something. Have you noticed how lately, even in the smallest things, there's been a strange ease? Like a weight quietly slipping off your shoulders. That's not random. That's evidence. When heaven begins a transfer, the signs show up before the balance changes. It starts in your atmosphere. For me, I first recognized it when the panic that usually rose in my chest at the end of each month didn't show up. Nothing about my bank account had changed yet, but my spirit was calm. I didn't know it then. But peace is the first deposit. Peace is heaven's down payment. It's God saying, I've already handled it. Rest and watch me work. If you've been sensing unusual peace in the middle of uncertainty, that's your clue. The transfer is active. Chosen one. Another sign is unexpected favor. It might look like someone waiving a fee, a stranger opening a door, or a friend offering help without you asking. It could even be opportunities aligning with no explanation. I remember once being invited into a meeting I had no business being in. No credentials, no title. Yet, there I was sitting at the table. Why? Because when God funds your journey, He also funds the introduction. The right people start appearing, not because of your resume, but because of your assignment. Pay attention to repetition. When certain numbers, words, or themes keep surfacing, whether in conversations, dreams, or even random scrolling, that's not coincidence. That's heaven highlighting your path. I kept seeing 77 everywhere. Clocks, receipts, page numbers. At first, I brushed it off until I realized it was a pattern. 7 is completion. God was whispering, that chapter is complete. The new one is ready. You may be seeing 777, Ba-Ba Ba-Shaba, or other prophetic numbers. Take note. They are timestamps from heaven, reminding you that your journey is on schedule. And here's a big one. Resistance intensifies right before the release. If you felt more distractions, more doubt, even strange pushback from people. It's not proof that you're off course. It's confirmation that you're close. Before every breakthrough in my life, there was a surge of noise, arguments that came out of nowhere, unexpected bills, emotional heaviness. But I learned this truth. Pressure is a sign that the gate is about to swing open. Don't let resistance fool you. Let it remind you that abundance is inches away. Chosen one. The transfer is not just financial. It's holistic. You'll notice your body feeling lighter, your thoughts clearer, your sleep deeper. That's the Spirit renewing you from the inside out. So you can steward what's coming. Wealth without wisdom destroys. But heaven equips you before it funds you. So, when you feel the sudden urge to clean your home, organize your life, or distance yourself from draining relationships, don't ignore it. That's preparation. God is making space in your environment for what's arriving. Now, hear this. When the signs start stacking, peace, favor, repetition, resistance, renewal. You must respond. Don't shrug them off as coincidence. Acknowledge them. Speak out loud. I receive this confirmation. I align with this transfer. Words are keys. The more you affirm, the faster heaven releases. Chosen one. You are not waiting on a miracle. You are walking in one. The signs are already here, scattered like breadcrumbs leading you forward. Chosen one. Receiving a blessing is one thing, but retaining it, carrying it well, that's where legacy begins. Heaven doesn't just pour into open hands, it pours into steady ones. Think about it. How many people have touched abundance only to lose it because they weren't prepared to hold it? That won't be your story. When my first major breakthrough came, I nearly sabotaged it. I was so used to scarcity that when provision finally landed, I spent recklessly out of excitement, out of fear it might disappear. Within months, I was back at the edge. But God used that moment to teach me, if you treat overflow like survival, you'll keep living like a survivor. That lesson became my turning point. From then on, I didn't just ask for blessings, I asked for the wisdom to keep them. Chosen one. Here's the truth. Retaining the transfer requires a shift in posture. You can no longer live with the mindset of just enough. God isn't sending provision to vanish. He's sending it to multiply. That means when resources arrive, whether financial, relational, or spiritual, you must steward them with intention. Write the vision down. Track what you've been given. Give thanks often. Gratitude is like spiritual glue. It seals blessings in place and keeps the flow open. Another way you retain is by aligning your environment. Blessings suffocate in chaos. If your space is cluttered, if your circle is filled with voices of doubt, the blessing will feel heavy instead of holy. I had to learn to release friendships that were tied to my old season. It wasn't rejection. It was refinement. Because you cannot carry new oil in old wineskins. When heaven funds you, it also filters you. Some people won't understand why you pull back. Let them misunderstand. Protect your peace. Your environment must match the abundance being released. Chosen one. Sustaining overflow also means establishing rhythms. Consistency is the quiet guardian of miracles. Set aside time each day to realign, whether in prayer, meditation, or stillness. When I made it a habit to pause in the morning and declare, Provision follows me. Opportunities began to cluster around my life. That rhythm anchored me. Don't underestimate small daily practices. They prepare you to carry large blessings. And let me be clear, retaining blessing does not mean hoarding. It means circulation with wisdom. Money, ideas, opportunities. They're like rivers, not reservoirs. When you hold with fear, the water stagnates. When you release with trust, the flow accelerates. The secret is balance. Give freely, but steward wisely. You're not called to spill. You're called to pour. Chosen one. Your ability to retain will determine your capacity to expand. The blessing is not coming for a moment. It's coming for a mission. If you treat this transfer as sacred, it will not only stay, it will grow. Others will look at your life and see not just a sudden rise, but a sustained one. They will marvel, not because you touched abundance once, but because you live in it daily. So, let's anchor this. Say it aloud right now. I am not just a receiver. I am a steward. I carry my blessing with wisdom and gratitude. This declaration is your agreement with heaven. Chosen one. Retaining the blessing is only the beginning. Expansion is the true evidence that heaven's hand is on your life. God doesn't pour into you just so you can say, I have enough. He pours so that your overflow touches others, so that your life becomes a river that nourishes everything in its path. I'll never forget the first time I shifted from asking, how can I survive this month, to asking, how can I sow into someone else's breakthrough? That single question changed everything. Opportunities multiplied. Not because I was chasing them, but because I had become trustworthy with what I already had. Expansion, you see, isn't about chasing more. It's about proving you can multiply what's already in your hands. Chosen one. Think of the story of the talents. The one who buried his gift lost it, but the ones who expanded theirs were given even more. That's the divine principle at work. Heaven increases what you steward with faith and action. For me, it looked like taking a small amount of money I could have spent on comfort and investing it in a skill, a connection, a seed into someone else's dream. That little step unlocked doors I didn't even knock on. Expansion requires you to see beyond the immediate need into the eternal impact. So, how do you expand practically? Start by asking, what have I already been given? Maybe it's finances. Maybe it's influence. Maybe it's time, wisdom, or creativity. Whatever it is, use it. Don't wait for perfect conditions. The seed is never meant to stay in the barn. It's meant to be planted. Expansion comes when you risk releasing what looks small to unlock what is great. Another key, collaboration. Expansion often happens through divine connections. Heaven sends people whose vision aligns with yours. Don't ignore them. The dream God gave you is too big to carry alone. When I finally humbled myself and partnered with others, I discovered that what felt heavy alone became light together. Expansion is never a solo assignment. It's a collective mission. Chosen one. You'll also notice that as you expand, opposition will try to whisper fear. What if you lose it? What if you fail? What if you're not ready? But listen, fear is the gatekeeper of growth. The moment you push past it, expansion begins. Every new level requires a new boldness. The old version of you was skilled at surviving. This new version of you must learn to scale. So, declare this with me. I expand with grace. I multiply with wisdom. I grow with courage. These words are not just affirmations, they are agreements. Each time you speak them, you activate expansion in unseen realms. Chosen one. Your blessing is not just for you. It is for your family, your community, your generation. Expansion ensures that what starts as your miracle becomes someone else's testimony. Chosen one. Expansion is powerful, but legacy is eternal. Legacy is what remains long after the applause fades, the contracts close, and the numbers in the account shift. Legacy is the fingerprint of your obedience, the ripple of your faith, the proof that you didn't just live for yourself. You lived to impact generations. I remember standing in front of an old house my grandparents once lived in. It was small, cracked walls, a roof patched a dozen times, yet that house was filled with prayers. They didn't leave me wealth, but they left me faith. And that faith became the soil where my abundance now grows. In that moment, I heard the Spirit whisper, "Your ceiling will be their floor." That's legacy. Chosen one. God doesn't just fund your journey so you can enjoy comfort. He funds it so you can build foundations for those who come after you. Legacy begins with intention. Take a moment and ask yourself, when my journey on earth is finished, what testimony will remain? Will people simply remember that you endured difficult seasons? Or will they say, you became the one who transformed the future of an entire family? You have been entrusted with the power to change what generations before you believed could never change. The cycles of scarcity, fear, and limitation stop with you. That is why what God is releasing into your life is far greater than financial increase. It is a divine calling. Chosen one. You have been appointed to reveal what life looks like when heaven becomes the true source of every provision. This blessing is not merely about receiving abundance, it is about carrying the responsibility that comes with it. God is raising you to become an example of what happens when faith, not fear, determines the future. Every lasting inheritance requires wisdom and structure. Even the greatest overflow can disappear without faithful stewardship. This is the place where discipline joins hands with purpose. Build foundations that will outlive you, whether through wise financial decisions, healthy family traditions, or daily spiritual habits that preserve God's blessings for generations yet to come. Lead those around you by example. Show them what it means to trust God's provision, to manage every resource with integrity, and to recognize His voice above every distraction. This is how one blessing becomes many. The inheritance you leave behind is not measured only in wealth. It is found in the faith you inspire, the peace you carry into every room, the compassion you extend, and the wisdom you freely give. These gifts continue shaping lives long after the moment has passed. There have been people who returned to me years later saying, "One conversation with you changed everything for me. It gave me the strength to keep moving forward." I had almost forgotten those moments. Yet that is the quiet power of legacy. It sows seeds whose harvest you may never personally witness, but they continue growing because God gives them life. Never forget this. Building a legacy demands the courage to choose a different path. There will always be voices questioning your decisions, wondering why you invest with wisdom, give with generosity, or refuse to accept the same limitations everyone else embraces. But those who are called to leave a legacy are not driven by public approval. They are guided by divine purpose. Chosen one. You were never created to disappear into the crowd. You were called to become living proof that when God provides for his chosen, he does far more than sustain them. He equips them to transform lives and leave an eternal impact. So, today, begin framing your legacy. Write down the principles you want your life to stand for. Speak openly about the goodness of God. Model generosity. Leave tracks of wisdom so that when others follow, they don't stumble in the dark. Chosen one. Abundance is a gift. Expansion is a responsibility. But legacy, that's the crown. That's the story that echoes after you're gone. Chosen one. When heaven places something precious in your hands, protection becomes just as important as expansion. The enemy doesn't fight empty vessels. He fights full ones. The very fact that you've begun to walk in abundance, in favor, in supernatural provision, is the reason distractions and attacks have tried to circle your life. But hear me. You are not defenseless. You are guarded, covered, and equipped to protect the legacy God is building through you. I learned this the hard way. The first time I stepped into a new level of blessing, I thought everyone around me would celebrate. Instead, some grew distant. Others whispered doubts. A few even tried to pull me back into old cycles. At first, I took it personally. But then I realized this wasn't about people. This was about patterns. The moment you break a generational cycle, resistance rises to test if you're serious about staying free. That's why protecting your blessing is not optional. It's essential. So, how do you protect what heaven gave you? First, protect your mind. Every battle begins in thought. Doubt, fear, comparison. They will knock at the door daily, but you choose what enters. For me, I had to stop rehearsing old failures in my head. Every time a thought whispered, "You'll lose it," like last time, I replaced it with, "I am chosen, and what God gives me, no one can take away." Your declarations are weapons. Speak them. Live them. Let them become the shield that guards your atmosphere. Second, protect your circle. Not everyone can handle your elevation. Some relationships thrive on your struggle. The moment you rise, they feel threatened. And that's okay. Release them with love. God is surrounding you with those who sharpen, not drain. Protect your space from voices that sow doubt, envy, or confusion. I once heard it said, if they don't celebrate you, they can't cover you. Choose wisely who you allow near your vision. Third, protect your rhythms. Blessings leak when you neglect the practices that kept you aligned. Daily gratitude, prayer, rest, stewardship. These aren't just routines. They're armor. When I drifted from these, I noticed my peace waver. But when I returned to them, clarity and protection wrapped around me like a fortress. Consistency is holy protection. And finally, protect your focus. Distractions will come dressed as opportunities. Not every open door is your door. Some detours are designed to drain your time, energy, and resources. Learn to ask, does this align with my assignment? If the answer is no, walk away boldly. Protecting your blessing sometimes means saying no more often than you say yes. Chosen one. Protection doesn't mean living in fear. It means living in wisdom. It means walking with awareness that what you carry is sacred. The same God who blessed you has also armed you. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Not financial attack, not relational sabotage, not inner doubt. You are shielded. Chosen one. Here we are. The culmination of everything heaven has been whispering, aligning, and preparing in your life. You've walked through release. You've stepped into expansion. You've claimed legacy. And you've secured protection. Now, this final piece is about sealing it, anchoring your new season so it cannot be shaken, stolen, or silenced. When a season shifts, the atmosphere around you begins to respond. Old cycles try to cling, not because they're stronger, but because they're familiar. That's why sealing is necessary. It's your spiritual declaration that the past no longer has permission to sit at the table of your future. I remember a night when I literally stood in my living room and said out loud, "This chapter is closed. From this moment forward, I walk in divine abundance." That night, something lifted. My environment didn't change instantly, but my spirit did. And when the spirit seals it, the natural follows. Chosen one. Sealing your new season begins with your words. Speak life daily. Declare alignment over your finances, health, relationships, and purpose. Don't wait for evidence. Create it with your confession. Heaven responds to faith-filled speech. The more you affirm, the more your atmosphere bends toward blessing. Next, sealing requires action. Don't just dream. Document. Write your vision. Set your intentions. Build systems that reflect where you're going, not where you've been. Legacy is not sealed by wishes. It is sealed by structure, even small steps. Saving a portion of income, scheduling intentional rest, creating space for prayer. These are bricks in the wall of your new season. Another layer of sealing is gratitude. Gratitude transforms blessings into permanence. Every morning, I started writing 3 things I was thankful for, even when life looked scarce. Within months, that habit rewired my focus. Instead of obsessing over what I lacked, I magnified what I carried, and what you magnify multiplies. Gratitude seals the flow of abundance because it proves to heaven that you're ready to hold more. Chosen one. Never forget the ultimate seal. Surrender. To surrender is not weakness. It is strength perfected. It's saying, "God, I release the urge to control outcomes. I trust your plan fully." The moment you surrender, you align with divine timing. Doors open without strain. Resources find you without chasing. Peace guards you without effort. Your surrender is heaven's green light. So, here is your prophetic declaration for this new season. I am God's chosen. The past is behind me. The new has come. I carry abundance. I protect it with wisdom. I expand it with faith. And I seal it with gratitude and surrender. No force can reverse what heaven has released. My life is a testimony. My legacy is secure. And my future is radiant with divine favor. Chosen one. You are no longer waiting for a shift. You are living in it. Move forward with unwavering courage. Love without holding back. Build with wisdom. And let your light shine without fear. May your life become a testimony that echoes through future generations, declaring that the God who called you is always faithful to provide, defend, and complete everything he has promised. Chosen one. This is your appointed season. Heaven has already begun moving on your behalf. And the breakthrough you have been anticipating is no longer somewhere ahead. It is unfolding right now. You are leaving behind the darkness of yesterday and stepping onto the path the Lord prepared specifically for you. Your past no longer defines your identity, and your future is overflowing with hope. You are walking according to heaven's perfect timing, surrounded by God's protection and led toward His abundant provision. I declare over your life today, may every barrier that once stood before you become an open entrance into new opportunities. May uncertainty give way to clear direction. May fear surrender to perfect peace. May every burden be replaced with lasting joy. Walk with confidence, knowing the very God who invited you into this calling is faithfully directing every step you take. What seemed delayed is now gaining momentum. What was damaged is being made whole. What you believed was gone forever is returning with greater abundance than before. Chosen one, stay faithful to His voice, remain in alignment with His purpose, and protect the anointing upon your life through gratitude and unwavering expectation. You are not moving through life without direction. You are being led by the hand of God. You are not carrying every burden through your own strength. His grace is carrying you forward. Heaven's supernatural work has already begun, and every act of obedience is opening doors to blessings beyond anything human eyes have witnessed or human minds have imagined. If this message has spoken directly to your spirit, respond with faith. Leave 777 inches, the comments, as a declaration that you are embracing this new season with confidence and expectation. Share this message so someone else can be encouraged by the same hope. And subscribe to continue walking alongside a community of chosen people pursuing God's purpose together. You are blessed. You are protected. You are chosen. Step confidently into the future God has prepared for you, knowing that heaven walks with you every step of the way.